Hi everyone, it's Anna Wheaton here from Nudge Nudge Inc. I'm here to show you our incentive to join Stampin' Up starting in January. During January and February, Stampin' Up has its biggest promotion for the year, which is called Sale-a-Bration. This is the brochure. I can't show you the inside of it yet, but there are always fantastic incentives to shop, but there are also incentives to join, and this is the one for this Sale-a-Bration. This is our Stampin Glass Mat Studio. To join Stampin' Up, you would pay $169 any time of the year and get $235 worth of product. So that's $66 free. During Sale-a-Bration, it costs the same, $169 to join. You'll get $235 worth of product plus this glass mat, which is valued at $106. You can't buy it, you have to join. Your other alternative is to pay your $169, get $235 free plus an extra $51 of product. So if you have something like this already, you may want to take up the second option. But this is a fantastic product and I just want to show you a few things about it. There are three parts to it, the first being the glass mat, the second being the chamois, and the third being the silicone mat. So let me take you through the features. The glass mat, if you are wanting to know how big it is about 43 centimeters by 36. So if you're wanting to check if it will fit on your workspace, that's how big it is. It has on the corners some rubber corner protectors. These are removable. So if you prefer a cleaner look on your space, you can just take those off. I'm just leaving them on for now. They will sit it up from your workspace, but there are also little feet in each corner on the back. So these little feet will keep it steady and stop it from slipping around. It has grid lines already incorporated into it. So that means these grid lines will not wear off. They are within the glass. Then it has centimeters down the left-hand side and along the bottom and inches in the other direction. I know a lot of people work in both imperial and metric, but for our metric market, these are the dominant measurements here. Then you've got your grid lines all over that you can line your projects up with. It's a light color, so it's going to show up your ink, and I'll show you that in a moment. The tempered glass means that it is heat resistant and cut resistant. So you can use your heat gun on this, and you can also cut with a blade on it, and it will not scratch it. The next part of it is your silicone mat. Now, silicone mat is nice and white. I've used mine a bit, put ink directly on it. So just to show you, it will stain, all right? Just so that you know that. I've also put some glue there in the middle of that little section, just to show you that you can just peel your glue off once it's dry. It won't stick to it. So you could even do some project work on here. Interestingly, peeling that glue off has peeled off some of the ink color. These little sections here you can use for mixing if you want, but of course it will stain, but they are specially designed to fit our ink spots. Okay, they will go in there and they won't budge. Now, the other thing is the back of this, yes, it picks up in the video, I think, is shiny and smooth, so it will just stick onto that surface and it won't budge. All right, so you can take it on the high seas and it won't slide around. What I've also discovered is I can peel that off, and I'm just putting it on my tabletop beside my, just moving that down a bit so that you can see it, beside my glass mat, and it stays firm there as well. Then the third element is our chamois. Now, some of you may have our purple chamois, which is more like a sponge shape. This is more like a cloth. So it's the same consistency, but you can just screw it up in your hand and use it like a cloth. It will stain, but when you have a fair bit of ink in it, you can just rinse it under the tap and you're ready to go again. And it will dry hard. So just like a normal chamois, if you leave it to dry out, it'll end up in that stiff shape. But you just rinse it and use it again. Now, this is obviously the main part of it. So I'll just show you some of the things that you can do. You've got white space over here. And still plenty of room to move. One of the other features I've heard some people say is it may mean, because it's raised a little bit, it means the other things don't encroach on your workspace. I know when I work, my space gets smaller and smaller and smaller as things crowd in. So perhaps that may help. I don't know, let you know. This white space, you can use your blends to write your shopping down. I don't know that I've ever been out of dimensionals, but it's good to know I can do that. So that's white space there. Now, we used to do watercoloring and so on, where we would use one of our clear blocks. I'll get an empty one. One of our clear blocks, and we would smooch it into the ink to create a palette. So the difference is you can just put some ink there, straight on the glass, and then you can come in with your watercolor to mix some of that up straight onto your project. Now, because this is a light color, that means it's really easy to see the ink that you're working with, and that ink will stay nice and wet, so that's not going to soak into the paper if you're doing something else and then you want to use a little bit more. It'll stay there and be wet for quite a while. Now, here's another little example here. We have our masks, and a piece of cardstock. That's a large piece of cardstock. I forgot to cut one ready, but it'll work. Washi tape. So again, I'm just easy to attach that to my workspace. Picked up some fluff there. And then easy to attach this mask over it. And then let's grab a blending brush. So also, if you used blending brushes, we always say to start on, just dab it off on something so that you don't get the edge of that first ink straight onto your paper. So with this, you can just start on your glass mat and work your way in. Then if I go back here, of course, I'm going to pick some more of that ink up. Because it's on the glass mat, it's not soaking in anywhere, and I can still retrieve a bit of it. I won't end up with all of it, but let's come in from this side. So, and go back and pick some of that up. And just keep going until I'm happy. So then I can just lift that up, and there's my masking done. Then I can lift my piece of paper up, which, remembering, I can line it up beautifully because we've got those grid line marks. Sorry, I just got caught in some washi tape. But then if I want to clean this up, I can just wipe that with my chamois to get my workspace clean and ready to go again. Something like that, that will still rub off, but of course it's going to stain my cloth. The other thing, if you have something quite like texture paste or something like that that is sticky on there, the other thing that you can use for your cleanup is to add a little bit of hand sanitizer. That's always very handy to have, and also you can have that near you in a small bottle. It's not going to take up very much space. All right, these here, if you are doing watercoloring, you could put some water in here for using your brush, and like so, a little bit there, so that I can just grab some extra water and add it to that. If I want to clean my brush off, I've got this textured surface that I can just run my brush back and forth in just to get some of the excess water off, and then I'm ready to go. I actually had a play when I was experimenting with this. I even used it as an inky background. I patted my ink pad on it and then pressed some cardstock on it. So that's another idea. Okay, so I can even just, that's just a small amount of water. Now, if you're using your, you're working on something for a while, you might also want to clean that up without having to go and rinse your chamois out. So something else you can do is just grab a paper towel or a tissue to get most of that ink off, so that you're not getting too much ink on your chamois if you don't want to get up and go and clean it. Okay, so as you can see, this is a generous workspace. It really is nice and big. Bigger, I don't have grid paper here to compare, but it's certainly deeper than our grid paper, I would say. So once again, just a reminder, this is a joining offer. You cannot purchase this, although demonstrators had the perk of being able to before Sale-a-Bration, so that we could show it to you. So during Sale-a-Bration, it is the joining offer. If you need one of these and you don't have a demonstrator, I'm happy to send you a catalogue. So the joining offer is $169 plus this mat, for which is valued at $106. So $169 gets you $235 worth of product, plus this mat, plus free shipping and handling on your order. And that's through January and February. So if you're interested, let me know. Happy to help you with that. Bye.